Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Skillet coming to you from X4 Foundation's Interworlds Mod. Now, we are in a save right before the battle that took place. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, if you like the Let's Talk series, the Interworld Mod, the Accomplished Scientist series, think about throwing up a subscribe. It really helps. But not only that, throw up a like, because that helps get the channel out to a broader audience. You know, because the algorithm gods. But if you want to say hey, because nobody asks how you're doing at one point. But if you want to say hey, just drop a line. Hey, Skillet. Or if you have a comment, a question, anything, throw it in the comments. And I do want to thank everybody that's been throwing comments out there.
We found something out
in
here.
Terms of the Interworlds mod. It doesn't matter if we get that or not. This is an old save. I want to thank those people that have, because the Interworlds mod is such a vast mod. There's so many different changes, and we're going to kind of get into that in this video. But first, let's take a look at the fleet that we used. So let's actually, here we go, condense this a little bit. It is a lengthy fleet in terms of amount of ships. So in its main core group, we have the Ordnance, we have the 2 Acclimators, and then as attack groups with the Ordnance cruiser, we have the GS-80, which in that group has the 2 Corvettes. Attached to those Corvettes are 2 wings of ARC-170s. With the Ordnance cruiser, there's also an attack wing of 4 ARC-170s. For the bombardment group, the 2 Acclimators, there is an attack wing and a defense wing. So the attack wing is ARC-170s. The defense wing is, for 1 Acclimator, Nimbus, V-wings, 3. And then for the other Acclimator, there's the defense group of V-19s, 3. And then along with the Ordnance cruiser, there is a defense group of V-19s and Nimbuses. Now, I did this battle maybe about 12 times. And in the first good chunk of those, I took everything that we did in X4 Foundation's base game, right? I said, okay, well, I'll initiate the event, and you see me when the video starts. You see me gliding in backwards to initiate the event, and then so I can book it back out. However, that's not how the battle goes. But in the original attempts, these V-19s and Nimbuses, they were the only fighter craft that we had. They were set to intercept. 10 out of 10 times, they would engage in the combat down here, and they would be decimated. We lost our fleet every single time. Every single time that I was OOS, or out of system combat, we lost the fleet. When we didn't lose, let me rephrase that. The only time we had a successful try, we lost the fleet, but I kept the striker outside the sector. So I teleported into a ship close enough to initiate the event, teleported out of system, and I watched the fleet practically just crumble. Now, the fleet did not have the ARC-170s. The ARC-170s help in a bigger aspect because of the ion gun. And this is my opinion. I could totally be wrong in this, but for everything that I've pulled up into this, into the battle, everything I experienced, and then when I added the ARC 170s, there was a drastic change in battle mechanics. So, first time we were actually successful, we lost the fleet. I teleported to the striker. The enemy fleet only had 3 S-class ships. And I said, okay, let's try this a little different. Second to last attempt before we actually did the final video. As you see in the video, I scream in backwards to start the event. And as you see in the video, I pull up close to my fleet. I believe I actually dragged the defense node down, so I'm in here and the fleet comes to me. In the second to last attempt, the enemy fleet came in piecemeal. They came in very staggered. And we actually got a lot of bales, and we didn't lose a ship. I said, boom, I got it. That's how we're going to do this battle. By that time, I had the ARC 170s, and I think the ARC 170s really helped with the bailing of the enemy pilots. But when I set up the fleet, I realized that intercept, maybe it's the ships, maybe it's the pilots, but the intercept command was not working. In my other attempts, especially the third to last, where we lost the fleet but we were still able to win, there is a weird dogpile mechanic that happens. So that's where I decided I need a defense force for some of my L-class ships. I need to be able to get some of the fighters off my ships. And that's why I have the fleet laid out in this way. The M-class ships actually did pretty well on their own through a lot of the trials and tribulations that this fleet has went through. They were typically some of the last ones to die, especially the GS-80. When we added the ARC 170s, I think we had a better survival rate than before. So the third to last, we had the ARC 170s. And then we went to the second to last where we didn't lose a ship. And then we went to the final where I recorded, where I believe I messed up. And I don't know if it's fully me as I went back and I watched it. I don't know if it was fully me, because you can see in the video where some of the S-class ships will jump in and they will start battling. But once that target is gone and they don't have another target recalculated, they fly back. And that's one of the things that kind of irked me in that final recording, was they were taking shots in the back and not doing anything. Now, again, that could be pilot, that could just be the game. Honestly, I don't know. It does make me think that we should have a series, and I'm going to hate this because I'm not scientific. I'm not scientific. That aspect does not interest me. I know it interests a lot of people out there, but I'm not there to min-max what gets the best. But there's a huge difference in shielding in individual S-class ships. And for the losses that we took, not a whole lot. So let's actually, there are 32 in 3. I'm going to just take a snapshot so I can remember that number. So when we transition to after battle, we can see what we lost and what we've gained, by the way. Because in the final recording, there's not a whole lot of bailed ships. I think there's roughly about 4, but still there's something there. This, where is, here we go. Oh, I love that jankiness sometimes. I do like the Nimbuses. The Nimbuses are pretty fun to fly on your own. So if you haven't gotten Interworlds Mod, or you do, I think the Nimbus is a really fun ship to fly. But I was very happy with the L-class ships, the Ordnance Cruiser and the Acclimators. I'm very fond of the Acclimators. In the second to last, before the
awaiting orders,
before the recording, it's what I use to really take down most of the other L-class ships. Ice. But I hope that kind of clears up some of or why I created the fleet the way I did. And the tactic, a sound way to do the battle, is to try to bring in the enemy into my operating area, and destroy them piecemeal. And I did that because the enemy fleet would not follow me through a gate, but they would follow me in sector. And so that was the whole tactic and the whole plan. So let's see what we lost. Let's see what we gained. All right. So, in terms of losses, we lost 11 ships. Let's break this all out. Oh, did I click on that twice? Boom. So what really kind of got decimated was so the attack groups for the corvettes. The attack group for the ordnance. So that's 2, that's 2, that's 2, that's 6. That arc group there stayed the same. This arc group got demolished, so that's another 3 missing out of that group, so that's 9, 10, 11 for the V19s. So the most that we lost was the ARC 170s. And I will say that I think most of those losses came from when they were getting shot from behind, especially with the M-class corvettes. You see that pretty clearly in the battle video. We do have the HQ. We do need to get a manager, but let's take a look to see what we actually have. Oh, we also lost the Striker, which I like the Striker. I'm a little upset about it. I'll buy one. Not a big deal. I think it's a very sturdy S-class ship. So the Y-Wings were there before battle. I didn't utilize the Y-Wings just because everything told me that they die. All the other attempts, they were demolished. So we have a Defender corvette. What? Karazak? Carax? Carax? Is that how you say that? A Carax? And 2 Star Chasers. What is this?
Jump completed, Vergisso.
I want to hear you say the name. I want to make sure I get that name right. Kyrix? I think it's Kyrix. Actually, it's a very is that an engine? Very square but angular ship. And then we also have a Defender corvette.
Hurex fighter.
Oh. And this is actually something that I debated on using for the fleet, is a Defender corvette. Oh.
Defender corvette.
I really like how they use the Talati look in this. I see a lot of fleets. Well, maybe it's just the CSA with the Defender corvette. But I actually debated on using this instead of the other corvettes from the IGC. So out of the 11 total losses, we have 4 to make up for it. Now, these will not be incorporated into the fleet. And I believe I might actually break up the fleet into 3 different fleets. I have not made my final decision on that, but I do want a separatist fleet, if you will. Because, again, the name of the game is a little revenge. Huts. We're going to revenge against the Huts. So I do kind of want to separate the acclimators out of what our main fleet's going to be. So anything Republic-like, I want to keep in its own fleet. That does mean getting Vulture and Vulture droids, Tri-Fighters, the Hyenas, maybe a lot of those, just to make it work. But I do want to play with the Kyrix. Why don't you just say the name? I just want to make sure I said it right. But yeah, this is going to be Skillet signing out for now. We have a lot more to come. Stay tuned. If you have any questions on how the tactics, why the tactics were the way that they were, or if you want to know more, leave a comment, ask the question. The first roughly about I did this battle so many times, 8, 9, 10 times that I did it. We did lose the fleet every single time. I tried to do it how we did, or how I typically do battles in X4 Foundations and out of sector. That didn't work. Then I got involved. It fared better, a lot better, because we won, but lost everything. Then we won and not lost anything. And then we lost 11 and still won. But if you have any questions on that, feel free, drop a line. Or if you have any suggestions of in why the intercept command didn't work, if there's better interceptors out there, or, you know, anything in terms of ships, because this game is massive. And I'm going to regret saying this because, again, I'm not scientific. But I will do. Hold on, I had to stop myself for a second. I need to make sure that I know what I'm getting into. I will do a series on individual ships. God, I said that. Well, I said it, so it's out there now. Let me know in the comments if that's something you want to see as well, because there's a whole lot of differences, especially once you get to L-class or even M-class ships. Shielding, for God's sakes, is different. Weaponry, depending on faction. Even if they build the same ship, doesn't mean they have the same weaponry to be attached. It's a mess, but I guess it's really believable. Maybe, I don't know. But Skillet signing out for now. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whenever you watch.